The calm that had settled over the colony was deceptive, a fragile peace that masked the deeper fears lurking beneath the surface. The colonists knew that the rift had changed everything, even if they could not yet understand how. The first signs were subtle, almost easy to dismiss. But as the strange occurrences continued, the colonists could no longer ignore the fact that something was deeply wrong. Lyra had learned to trust her instincts, and they were telling her that the rift had unleashed something far more dangerous than the shadows. She could feel it in the air, and the way the world had subtly shifted around them. The rift's influence was spreading, its effects felt in ways that defied understanding. The scientists knew that they were dealing with forces that were beyond their control, and the implications were terrifying. The rift had opened a door to something dark and insidious, a force that preyed on the minds of the colonists, twisting their thoughts and dreams into nightmares. The more they tried to understand it, the more it seemed to unravel their reality. The rift was not just a tear in the fabric of reality, it was a gateway to a force that had consumed entire civilizations before them. Galvin knew that they were facing a threat far greater than anything they had encountered before. Fear had a way of spreading, and the rift's influence had sown seeds of doubt and paranoia among the colonists. The bonds that had held them together were fraying, and the sense of impending doom only deepened the divisions. The rift's power had manifested in the physical world, tearing open the ground and revealing a darkness that seemed to have a life of its own. The colonists were no longer just fighting an unseen force, they were facing a tangible, terrifying reality. The council was running out of options, and the desperation in their voices was clear. They knew that they had to act quickly, but every decision carried the risk of making the situation worse. Lyra knew that the only way to save the colony was to confront the rift head-on. She was ready to face whatever lay ahead, no matter the cost. The survival of her people depended on it. The journey to the epicenter was fraught with danger, as the landscape itself seemed to be turning against them. But Lyra and her team pressed on, driven by the knowledge that their only hope lay ahead. The creature was a manifestation of the rift's power, a living embodiment of the darkness that had been unleashed. The team knew that they were facing something far beyond their understanding, but they had no choice but to fight. The battle was intense, a desperate struggle against a foe that seemed unstoppable. The creature was a force of nature, but the team fought with everything they had, knowing that their survival depended on it. Lyra's insight was a turning point. She had seen the connection between the creature and the rift, and she knew that if they could break that bond, they might be able to defeat it. The battle had reached its climax, and the team fought with everything they had left. The creature was weakening, its connection to the rift severed, but the final outcome was still uncertain. The creature was defeated, its dark energy finally dispersed. The team had won, but the cost had been high, and the journey was far from over. The heart of the rift was a place of pure darkness, where the very air seemed to vibrate with power. The team knew that they had reached the source of the rift's influence, and that their final challenge lay ahead. The final guardian of the rift had appeared, a being of pure energy that embodied the rift's power. The team knew that this would be their greatest challenge yet, and that the fate of the colony depended on their victory. The sacrifice was the only way to end the rift's influence. The team member knew that their life was the price to pay for the colony's survival, and they made that choice without hesitation. The rift was gone, and the world was safe for now. But the cost of victory was high, and the scars left by the battle would not soon fade.